Okay, perfect. So I have a document here with the points I'd like to talk about today. First, an introduction. This is an interior modding tutorial that's intended to be useful for beginners. So it's assumed you already have some knowledge of how the construction set works, and we're going to see specifically how you make an interior. These are the main points, and I think we can start right away. So I have the construction set open, and I have both Vaschenblad data and terminal data open. Don't worry, I'm not going to complicate things. I don't want it to be overwhelming, but I think if we're making some mod tutorial in 2024, we might as well use the best we have, so it's more useful for everyone. And another small tool I want to show you before we start is this one. I'm on the Vaschenblad data mod page, and there is this optional download of Vaschenblad beta developer tools that, as you can see, virtually nobody ever downloaded. It's been uploaded on August 2023, and there's only 100 downloads or so. And oh yes, I can drop the link. Let's see. There you go. And in this download, you're going to find this ASP file that I have active right now. It's the OAAB cells, which is incredibly useful because there's not just new items and IDs from Vaschenblad, but also the various items from the base game. So if you don't know what piece you need to use, or you don't even know what pieces you have available, you can check these cells, and as you can see, they go by tile set. So you have Imperial, Thalu, Common, and then there's also clutter cells, like this one. And as I will show you, it's really useful. So we decided to go with a common interior. Oh, okay. Sorry, I was checking the chat. I'm not used to this kind of multitasking. And we already decided that we're going to use this exterior. So now I'm going to create a new cell. You go to World, Interior Cell, and then New. And this one, we're going to just call it RP Interior. And as you can see here, there's many flags and values that we need to set. This one is ambient lighting, so it's some general lighting. This one is sunlight lighting, so it changes direction based on the time of the day. This one is the fog value. And then we have two flags here, has water and illegal to sleep here. Since this one is going to be essentially the house of an NPC, we're going to check this flag, illegal to sleep here. Otherwise, you could sleep in this interior like you do in the wilderness, and would be weird. And as far as these settings go, you don't have to remember them. We can just check an interior from the base game and then use those values. So where is it that we can find some common interiors? I would say Pelagiad or Caldera. So just go with, I don't know, with the Cluttering here. And if we check the cell, we have the values. So something along these lines is fine. It doesn't have to be exactly the same, just to have an idea of what these values should be. more or less. So I'm just going to make some small changes. Like this one, let's do 60. One, let's do 20. Oh, okay. From the chat, I'm learning that Russian Blade Data has an updated version of the developer tools. This is interesting. I didn't know that. Okay, now we've set all the values and we have our cell here, but I'm going to do this. And I'm going to essentially copy everything that's in this cell because I'm not sure what I'm going to use. And then I'm going to copy paste everything in my new cell. So I have everything at my disposal without having to make dirty edits to the Avasham Light data cell. Even if I had made some dirty edits, that wouldn't really be a problem because we can clean them later on, and I will show you how you can do that, but I find this to be cleaner and easier. So we have decided to go with this exterior building. I copied both items with, I selected them both and then Ctrl+C and Ctrl+V, and you can copy paste it. Okay, so now we only have to choose what set we're going to use. If we click on this, you can see that the naming convention are not exactly easy to understand, but plain, like this, it means that it's just plain plaster. It's what you would find in most common interiors. And these ones, where it says rich, it means that it's more decorated, so it's better for richer interior, fancier interiors. And then we also have this set right here, which is stone, and it's usually used in the basements. And in this case, we can do what we like, but I'm going to go with the rich set, just because it looks cooler. And just 1 second, I think I'm stuck. Oh, seems like the mouse has, the battery has worn off. Just hold with me for 1 second. Okay, it's working again. Okay, so now we have to make our interior. What pieces should we use? It's not always easy to understand what pieces you should use, so we can also do this. We can click on the building. Okay, I have see there's a question. No, you don't have to go 0, 0, 0, and I'll show you how you should approach this. So one thing you can do, you can check X common building 02. Then we'll go on statics, because this one is a static. And this is a function that only the CSSE has, that you can search an ID and filter by ID. Okay, and by right-clicking on the ID, we can see where this building is used. And it's telling us that it's used once in Pelesiad. So this building is only used once in the entire game. And here it is. And what we can do is we can check what the developers had done with this particular building and see how they build the interior. And one thing I'm going to do right away is I'm going to copy this interior into my cell in case I want to take inspiration or even use it as a base. But let's say we want to start from scratch. So here they are using this tile set with the higher ceiling, and instead I want to do something simpler with a lower ceiling. I'm probably going to use these ones. Okay, this should be the side piece. We can check, yes, it says room side, and this one should be the corner piece. We are going to copy paste these two. And one thing that's, oh, okay, copied the wrong piece. One thing that's very important when you make an interior is learning how to use the grid snap. So grid snap is here, and you can change grid snap values here. The most commonly used values are 64 and 32. You can go higher or lower, but only if needed, I would say. Otherwise, just stick with these two values. And what happens is when you activate the grid snap, the pieces are going to move like this instead of freely in the cell like this.
Basically sums up the
And
CSSE. It's everything you know about the
it's
construction set,
virtually
but
impossible
way
to
faster.
have these pieces
Minus
snap
some
together
funny little things
if you do
happening
it
in the
like
construction
this
set,
by hand.
plus some really cool
Where if you
features.
activate the
I'm gonna
grid
close
snap,
it again, don't
you
worry,
can see
there's a
what
reason why I do that.
happens
Previously,
is they snap
when they were
together
taking
perfectly.
on a plugin,
And
the construction set
you
would
can
open
also
and
rotate
then it
them
would
by
crash
fixed
because it
values.
loaded the plugin without the masters. So obviously it would crash.
Now,
Not anymore. You can
considering the
actually
exterior
define
building,
your
I think
plugin
we are
as
going to
moving
go
from
with
there.
a 2
So
by
the
3,
construction set is not
so
crashing. The
something
plugin is
of
loaded
this
and then
size.
all the masters are selected as well, and you're good to go.
Seems to fit more or less. We can click on this tree, then Control D, and you can duplicate this piece, just rotate it and snap. And here you go. You already have a base for this. Now, let's say I do not remember how you place a door. What is the correct piece? There's not even the door here. So what we can do is, you don't have to remember. You can just go back to Pelesiad in the original interior, or actually, I pasted it here, so we can check what they did. Okay, so they use this piece, which I put back in place with Control Z, and move it, and then Control Z. So we can just copy these two pieces and paste them here. I don't think this one is going to snap perfectly. If I remember correctly, it doesn't snap. Yeah, it doesn't snap. So you can copy it here and then disable the grid snap function and just go like this. And we have our door. And as you can see, you can then make things more complicated. Let's say we want to place, we want to add a basement. So we need a staircase, right? Because we needed to go all the way down. And we have the two staircase pieces here, left and right. And this would be the two pieces if I had used the plain tile set. So we grab these two, we copy paste them here, and then we can decide if we want the staircase on the left or on the right. Let's say we want to add it on the right side as the original interior. And we now have the staircase going down. Now let's say we want to add the basement. We essentially just inspect the pieces that are in this cell to check which ones we need. And I would say we need the corner piece, which is this one, and the side piece, which is this one. Okay, this one is the three-way piece. This one is the halfway piece because it has a wall on both sides. These two should be fine. Okay, shortcuts. I would say the most important shortcuts you need to know are Control C and Control V, Control D to duplicate things, and then probably the Q menu that's added by the CSSE, which has all these options. One that's really handy when you make interiors is the hide selection. Once an interior gets really cluttered, it can be hard to know what you're doing because there's so many things happening on screen. So you can select some items and then just go with hide, and then you can press the Q again and restore references. This one is another useful one. And apart from this, I would say these are the ones I use the most. So since we only have 1 hour and I would like to finish this interior, I'm going to show you what you could do if you want to make a quick interior without spending too much time, which is to just use the vanilla interior and then make some changes. This one might be a bit controversial. Summer Rebuild even has a name for this, which is, I think they call it cookie cutting. Cookie cutting is copy pasting an interior from the base game. And if you were to work for Summer Rebuild, they wouldn't have you do this. It's prohibited basically by the rules, but we are going to do it anyway because we don't have enough time. So we have this interior, but the problem with the interior is that it's not on grid snap. So say we want to make some edits to this interior, what can we do? It's a big problem, and took me a long time to figure this out for some reason, but you can simply, at least with the CSSE, you can grab the entire interior, then make sure the last piece you're grabbing is one that can snap with the grid snap, so not a barrel or a crate or a table, but tile piece like this one, and move the interior. And that's it. Now the entire interior with all the clutter is going to be back on grid snap. And this is really, really useful. Now, what we are going to do is we are going to move things around a bit so the interior doesn't look as copy-pasted. You know what they say, I don't remember who said the quote, but copying from one person is plagiarism, and copying from many different people is research. And this is pretty much what we are doing now. So I'm going to take this table, move it out the way, remove carpets. We are going to recycle some bits of cluttering, but what we are really going to recycle here is just the interior structure, because that's what it should look like anyway. It's really, really close to the exterior, as you can see. So there's really no reason to waste our time building something that's that different. So let's move the clutter out of the way. And then make something that's a bit more original. Oh, how did you highlight the table without highlighting the carpet? There's no trick here. Unfortunately, I've just gotten so used to the construction set that I know by memory what angles are best when you want to select only certain items. That's it. There's no trick, unfortunately. Okay, once we moved everything out of the way, now we have to decide what the interior is going to look like, what we want to do with this interior. And I think we don't have any clear idea of what this specific interior is going to be. So I don't have any line I should follow. I can just do my own thing, and I haven't really thought about it, but I'm deciding right now that it's going to be a node living in here, and it's a node who likes fancy things. So we're going to use the common rich furniture set, and this is something I want to discuss a bit further. We're going to go back to the clutter cell from Ovation Light, and I'm going to explain you a few things about this. Okay, I'm going to remove this one, as I think it's quite iconic of Nazi's house. So I want to remove it so it doesn't look too much like the same interior. I'm also going to place another tapestry here. These ones don't snap, unfortunately. I'm still going to use the grid snap, so at least I know it's centered. As you can see, it centers it automatically, but it doesn't snap. You have to do it by hand. And when you're making fine adjustments like this, you can just open the menu here, File Preferences, and here, Object Rotation, you can do 0.1, and as you can see, it moves slower. Okay, we have a bit of a problem here because the walls are a bit different. As you can see, by copy-pasting it in the same position, it clips with this piece here. But we can just do 0.95% scale. This is the scale of the item. It was scaled to 0.04 originally. We're going to go with 0.95 and it should be okay. Okay. Now, what furniture should we use? So we can go here, OAV Clutter. And as I said, I wanted to go with the common rich furniture set. Now, you can do what you prefer, of course, but my suggestion would be to not mix too much various furniture sets. Now, one argument one could make is that if we look at our apartments, our houses, we mix and match all the time, but try to remember that this is a game. It is a pretty stylized game, so it's not super realistic, and these pieces are here for a reason. They need to communicate what the race of the NPC is, his alignment, and I think it just looks better when you avoid mix and maxing too much. So I think I'm just going to go with these carpets. Actually, I'm just going to grab the entire selection, just in case. And maybe also the planters. Okay, this should do for now. Let's say these ones and these ones. And let's go back to the cell. As you can see, there's a big mess in this cell, but we are going to clean it at the end. Okay, so I still want a fireplace here, but I don't want the fancy fireplace. I want the most rustic one because this one is a Nord, so I want it to be a bit more rustic. That's even a word in English. So if we look for fireplace, let's say you don't remember how the fireplace is called. Let's see. This one should be this one, in Nord fireplace. Okay. But then again, as I don't want to waste too much time, I want to copy paste fireplace from some vanilla interior that already has all the logs inside and the fire. And this cute basket here with all the logs. Remember that copying from one person would be plagiarism, but this is research. We're going to place it here, so it's not in the same position as the original one. Okay, looks good. This one is supposed to clip a bit like this. Okay, and I'm going to remove these ones. Okay, see here, selecting this fire here is kind of complicated because it has a weird selection box, but I think we got it. We also removed some stuff that was here, but we don't need it. Sorry, I also deleted the fireplace. Let's do this actually, so we can get rid of the fire without making a mess. Okay. Let's grab this basket. So to make sure this one is sitting on the ground, and this is true for every item you want to snap on a surface, let's remove these ones for a second, just hide them. You can press F and it's going to drop on the ground like this, or you can press Alt and then drag it around, and this is a CSSE function that you can snap items on a surface like this, and you can change the axis for the snapping. So as you can see now, it's snapping in a different direction, and if I select X, it's going to snap in the X-axis. I'm not sure if I want to use this plant, but we'll see. So restore, and here are the logs. I reactivate the grid snap because I want this to be centered. And then press F, so it sits on the ground perfectly. And then when I move the fireplace, I'm pressing Y, so it moves on the Y axis, or you can press X, it's going to move on the X axis. So these ones here. And let's say this guy, I think we have some ideas that this interior is going to connect to a Dwemer ruin or something like that. So I'm just going to say that the corridor here is going to be the storage area. Here's the bedroom that also works as some sort of study. And okay, so this guy would probably add a door here just for security measures. So where can we find a door? It's not here. So we're looking at an ID that should likely have common and door in its name, right? So if we search for door and then common or something like this, we should find what we need. X is the prefix for exterior. So I'm going to look for EN, which is interior, and it's likely one of these twos. Okay, so we have it. This one, if I remember correctly, doesn't snap correctly. Yes, as you can see, it's not snapping correctly, but we can adjust it manually, so it's not a problem. Okay, it has to go a bit like this, and then like this. Okay. And we're going to lock it. When you double click on the door, one of the properties you can change is this one, lock level. We're going to go 65, and you don't have to save. You don't have to save here. If you save, it's going to create a dirty reference that can be cleaned later on, but it's better to avoid having dirty references in the first place. Okay, now let's see. This house is going to be placed in the Shiogorod region, if I remember correctly. And so we're going to add some plants from the Shiogorod region. I think Ovation Blight data has this parasol bonsai, which are really cute. This one. I'm going to duplicate this one, just in case. And if you press S and you go like this, back and forward with the mouse, you can adjust the scale. Or you can do it here in the menu. Doesn't make that much of a difference, whatever you prefer. Okay, our node scholar, which is interested in Dwemer technology, let's say also likes to sit on this specific spot, look outside of the window, smoke with his pipe, and drink some Nord meat. So let's create this scene. So alchemy, Nord meat. Let's place one here. Let's rotate it a bit. Always remember to rotate items so they do not sit at default angles, as that looks a bit unnatural. And if I remember correctly, there is some sort of pipe in thumbnail data. Maybe it's a MISC item. Yes, most likely. Pipe, TCOM pipe. There we go. I think there's another one. Looks a bit prettier. Yes, this one. And this one, we'd have to rotate it by hand, but we can try using this function like this. Still doesn't sit correctly, so we need to rotate it a bit by hand, like this. Then check from the various angles. Still doesn't sit quite right. Okay, like this, looks fine, more or less. No tobacco. I'm going to check if there's something. Then let's see one of these. See which one we like best. I like the blue one. Scale it down. Place it here. Let's place a piece of cloth here, like this. As you can see, not all the items sit correctly when you press F. You can press F some more times, and as you can see, it's going to sink a bit, which in this case, I think looks better. If you press F too many times and you see it is clipping, you can just Ctrl Z, and it's going to go back. Okay, I think we created a nice scene here. I'm going to save just in case. Now, let's see. I don't want to use this table. I'd like to use a different one so it doesn't look too copy-pasted. Let's see what other options we have here. This smaller table looks good. Let's also grab the carpets. Let's see, just so it looks different, we're going to place the table here. Then we're going to grab this and this chair. As you can see, it's not always easy to see where the items get copy-pasted. Thing about not putting items at fixed angles is important for things like carpets too. It makes things feel more lived in. As how this is what happens in real case scenarios too, right? You don't always have carpets at perfectly straight angles. So let's say this guy likes to sit here. Okay, one thing with the carpets is once you F-drop them, they tend to sit like this. And they have to be synced manually a bit, all the way until these parts on the side disappear. Once they disappear, you go up by a few units, and this is the right Z coordinate, essentially. Okay, let's F-drop this. Okay. Now, we can recycle this. Let's say this guy leaves alone, so we only need one set. It'll be fine like this. There we go. Let's grab a chair. As you can see, we are taking inspiration from the original interior, but we're still doing our own thing. All the various baskets and stuff that was around, we can use them to fill this corridor, which we decided previously was going to be some sort of storage area. Grab this plant right here, and let's put it in this corner so it looks less empty. Here, if I F-drop them, the plant is going to drop like this, so we're gonna have to bring it up by hand. Now, these ones were in the bedroom previously, but we are going to place them here like this. And I'm also going to go for a different model for the wine rack, not this one, but the fancier one from OAAB, which I saw previously, this one. And we're going as fast as possible, basically, because we only have 1 hour. So like this. There's no way to place these ones perfectly. You have to adjust them a bit by hand. No, there's no way to snap them anywhere. See if there's something I wanted to talk about that we still have not discussed. Okay, we're here, some actual interior work, so we're pretty much on schedule. Let's see. I think I want to place a library here, and yeah, this one looks fine. Some general items. Let's see. One thing we can do, so it looks less copy-pasted, even if we're copy-pasting, we're going to check this bookshelf here, and then we are going to see where it's placed in the base game to see if we can copy-paste something that looks good and make some small adjustments. Okay, there's some good ideas here. I'm going to grab this one. Let's check another one. Let's see, Governor Hall. This one is too fancy, I think. This one is a trader, so I think there's going to be too much variety. Okay, this one looks good, so I'm going to grab this one, and I'm going to take them in my cell. If I press on a piece and then T, it's going to bring me to center it on the piece I selected. Okay, see, there's a question. Actually, I don't remember doing something like that. That is snapping items that were not cooperative. I think I just, are you talking about when I moved this once in the wine rack? Because these ones I moved them by hand and then I dropped them. They weren't really snapped. Oh, when they were not cooperative, essentially you can select the entire interior with everything in it, and then if the last piece you select, and you can do that by deselecting and reselecting a piece, is a piece that can be put on grid snap, then it's going to go back on grid snap. And I can show you, if I now move the cell like this, and it's no longer on grid snap, and we can check by doing this, then if I select the entire cell again, And the last piece I deselect and reselect is a piece that can be snapped. It's going to go back on grid snap. So now we have these two bookshelves here that I copy pasted from another interior. And we're going to mix the two of them. Okay, the thing about not using always perfect angles also applies to furniture pieces. Not always, but remember this one is a node, so it's supposed to be a bit messy. Let's do this. And I'd say it looks pretty much okay. Yeah, it's true that I cut them, and we have to clean them out afterwards, yes. And that's part of the tutorial, how to clean the mod. And yes, we can rotate multiple items like this. And oh, yes, I understand the question. This is a function of the CSSE that has, I think it's this function right here, use world rotation axis. Yeah, I'm raising them to make sure they are not stuck into the static like this, because if an item is like this and if I F drop it, then it goes all the way down. So I prefer to raise it and then F drop it like this. Okay, this one looks good here. You're likely not doing anything that has too much character, that's not too unique, but we don't really have enough time. And we can always make some adjustments down the road to the mod. Okay, like this. And then we're going to put a library here. And for the library, I'm going with this one, which is small and doesn't need too much clutter. Like this. Let's make sure it's not clipping with the wall. And as I don't want to place books because it's really time consuming, I'm just going to go into the bookseller here in Balmora, copy some books and pasting them. Just books, so let's see. Some stuff we're going to delete. Okay, this one goes crazy for some reason. Okay, there we go. Okay, this one doesn't fit, and we could resize it, but it's generally a bad idea to resize objects that the player can then pick up, because it's going to be weird when you picked an item that had a certain size, and then once you place it back in the game world, it's going to change size, and that can be a bit baffling, to say the least. Okay, placing books, as you can see, it's not always easy. They don't F-drop correctly. They're hard to snap. For example, if I F-drop this book on the other one, it falls all the way down. Luckily, I can use the grid snap function like this. For some reason, it works when F-dropping wouldn't. Yeah, yes, Danae, we can do that. Okay, I'm quite sure this shelf has many issues that wouldn't pass a Tamer Rebuild review, because likely some books are clipping or are not positioned perfectly, things like that, but this sort of work. So let's move forward with the bedroom. And this one, I'm going to go really, really fast because we don't have much time. So we are going to recycle this one, because this guy definitely needs something where he can put his dress, his clothing. Like this. And I think I'm just going to keep this one as a drink, which is more expensive, and place some Nordic stuff on that, on here. Maybe a couple of this. And let's say this guy also has a brush. So one thing we know is this guy shouldn't be bold. And I think there's also a mirror. Oh yes, that's very important. Ownership of items. That can be done very quickly for the entire cell, like this. We can select one item, set ownership to nobody in this case, apply to selection, and we're done. Now all the items have the same property. Now let's quickly find a proper bed for this guy. We're going to use this one as a desk. This one is going to go close to the bed. Then this one and this one. Okay. Okay. This one has the same issue, I think. No, this model is from OAB and it's slightly different. As you can see, it f-drops correctly. If I f-drop it twice, it's already clipping like this. Let's do this. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention is all this time we've been modding with the lights turned on. If I press A, it's this shortcut here. It's going to show you what the actual lighting in the cell looks like. And you can clearly see that there's some adjustments to make because it's too dark here. We can also see that some books are clipping here. These have to be adjusted. And I also noticed by doing that I forgot to put some logs here. Log pile. These numbers are the radius of the light source that you are picking. So you have a log pile with a light source of 10, as you can see. And if no, it doesn't look like 10. Okay, it's 256, so it's a bigger radius actually. And if we compare, 128 should be, okay, it's a radius of 128. And I delete this one, only leave this one, you can see how much light is getting into the room. Now if I take first one, you can see the difference. And 200 is likely too much. Oh yes, there's the option to see light radius with the ring. I don't remember what the shortcut is at the moment. I don't use it too much, but it can be useful, yes. Okay, L, let's try that. Okay. Okay, as I said, I don't use it too much because I prefer to look at what it's actually doing. I think it gives a better idea, just moving the light around a little bit and see how much it lights the room. I think we are going to add another one of these, possibly here. Oh, this is the green light bug. I don't know if you can see it, but for some reason this is an issue with the engine that at certain angles and certain light radius, it produces this weird bug where the lighting stops having its original color and it becomes this greenish color, which is considered a bug. So you need to be careful. In this case, I wouldn't put the light here as it creates this problem. Maybe by dropping it a bit, the issue goes away. Let's check. And if it doesn't go away and you're set on placing the light here, you just have to switch to a light with a smaller radius usually. But we're just going to do this and we're good. Okay, we're almost done, I think. Okay, actually, I don't think I'm going to use this. Here's the desk. Let's move the light out of the way. Make sure it's sitting flat on the ground by f-dropping it. This one is another thing that Tamari build wouldn't let you do. An item should be on the same surface because this way it's clipping a bit with the carpet. And if you really want to do this, where one leg is sitting on the carpet and another one is sitting on the floor, you should rotate the bed, but we are not going to do that because it's too time consuming. But just something to keep in mind. It's one of those rules that I don't really agree with because I think it looks okay that one leg is sinking a bit into the carpet because it's not a solid item, but it has, it's soft. This room needs more of this. I think I'm just going to Control D and then move it like this. Let's just check it's centered. Let's do that again here. Okay. And now, since this guy is supposed to be a Dwemer scholar of some sort, let's just scatter some Dwemer item in here. Let's make it look like he's studying Dwemer technology or something like that. Some stuff he found during his journeys, his excavation. We are not sure what he's doing. So let's just go and misc items. And okay, here we can find, by searching for web, we can find some Dwemer items that we can place around. If we had more time, we could come up with something more interesting, more intentional, I would say, with a scene that's more thought out and realistic, but we can't really do that. So yes, what Danae is saying is absolutely true, absolutely correct. I agree. It's not always important to add tons and tons of clutter, but just clutter that tells a story, the specific story you have in mind. Let's rotate this one. Okay. Tube. Okay, this one looks good. I can use this num function like that. Then let's find, I don't know, let's see if there's a hammer. Let's say this guy was just breaking some, okay, tool hammer. See, Ovation Blight has it. Just say he was breaking some Dwemer stuff. Let's add a light source here. Actually, let's say he was breaking stuff and taking notes. So, let's see. First, let's add a light source. I think we can go with another one of these. I'm going to duplicate it, place it here. Okay. And then again, we are going to copy paste something like this. Not sure how much sense this all makes, but okay. Let's place some Dwemer gears. This one is massive. Let's try with another one. No. Let's try with this one. Okay, let's get it down. Okay, maybe like this. Okay. I think we are pretty much done in record time. And I'm just going to delete everything that we don't need very, very quickly. Now the cell needs a path grid. Path grid is needed because otherwise NPCs don't really know where they need to walk in an interior. You just open the path grid cell and then you start placing the nodes like this. And if you then click on one of them and then Control, you hold Control and you click on another one, it's going to connect two dots like this. Oh yes, we're also going to talk about patches in another episode. I think. Okay, like this. Seems like the path grid is good. And where is the? There we go. We can save it. One last thing we need to do is we would have to set the north marker for the minimap. And to place the node marker, we also need, we would have to have placed the exterior door. Because the way you find the correct rotation for the marker is you take the rotation of the interior door and you subtract it to the rotation of the exterior door, and that's the value of your node marker. So let's say the exterior was placed at a rotation of 271, then will be 271 minus 271, and this door marker would have this rotation, and it would be the correct value. So the lighting looks good, except for this place here at the entry. Actually, it looks a bit dark, but doesn't matter. Now I'm going to quickly show you how you can clean the mod. Now there's many ways you can do this, and the choice is yours. But actually, I think the easy way is to use the Enchanted editor. That's what I use at least. You can just open the file, and it's quite intuitive. You see what you did there? Yes. And let's see. So we edited 4 cells, and we only really want to leave the edits in our cells, in our cell. So we are just going to select this one, remove the edits. We edited some activators. These ones were edited when we copied and pasted in a big block everything that was in the OAAB cells. So you can remove them. Then we somehow edited 2 books. Yes, these ones are notes. Also copied from the Ovation Light cells, since I'm not really sure why it created a dirty reference instead of simply pasting them in the cell, but doesn't matter. Path grid is just in one cell, and okay. And I would say we are done. We don't want to save the changes as we have saved edits from the enchanted editor. We can double check that it is clean, and it is clean. And here we go. This was quite the record to make an interior in just 1 hour while also talking and all of that. And unless you have other questions, I think we're pretty much done here. Okay. There's a question. Oh, thank you, thank you. Oh yeah, I hope I was able to share something that that's useful and that it wasn't too boring, or that we didn't keep it at a too much of a basic level, basically. Oh yeah, yeah. Thank you, and I hope it was also maybe useful to see what the workflow of someone who has spent a lot of time to the construction set is. I thought that spending the bulk of the time actually just modding and letting people see what what we do with the construction set would be interesting, and I hope it was. Okay, then. Thank you to you guys, and it was really nice, and definitely up for a second episode on the hatching process, if that's something that can be interesting. Yes, and we can double check them here. This is the ASP file open in the enchanted editor. And as you can see, there's nothing except from the cell edits to the cell we created and the path grid. Thank you. Thank you to you guys. It was really fun. Great. Thank you. Bye. Bye bye.